Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Wave the Brush with me, your host, Chris, aka Mini Wargamer Chris, aka The Name Butcher, aka Mall of AKs. Wave the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and everything under the sun. Of course, if my mouth is completely out of sync with what I'm saying right now, give it a few moments. We'll correct that eventually. As I'm doing this show again from home, and I've switched computers, and so there's always a little bit of hiccups whenever I play with variables and stuff like that. So anyway, so again, Wave the Brush is all about you guys asking your questions, answering your question. There are no dumb questions. And you can ask them by email, of course, chris@miniwargaming.com. It's in the description below. Of course, you can always ask on Facebook. And, of course, you can also join us on Discord. Discord has been a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun conversing with you guys, getting to know you guys. I kind of feel like, we're starting to get a little bit closer together, Grim was kind enough. Grim is a young fella. I don't know what his online handle is, but Grim is a young fella who was kind enough to send us cookies to the Mini Wargaming crew, and we all enjoyed them. They were great. They're fantastic. And Grim, we've been playing with Grim on PUBG, Player Unknown Battlegrounds. Hilarious game. Great guy to play with. Of course, Armor Freak. And whenever we do the game nights, of course, on my channel or Quark's channel as well. And, jeez. So, yeah. I'm live, right?
No one saw anything.
My God, man. And so, of course, you can always answer your questions. And, of course, if I don't answer them right away, and if you're attending live, you can ask your questions as well. And myself or the monkeys will answer them. And the monkeys are very knowledgeable. They're a very clever bunch. They'll answer their questions because, a lot of them have been in this game as long as I have, and, very knowledgeable folk. And so, of course, speaking of the monkeys, who's joining us this afternoon? This is a Sunday, by the way. I'm recording this episode as I went to a tournament yesterday, and so, reasons. I'll talk more about the tournament later. Okay, so who's joining us here? We got Cock King 555. Holy crap! Cock King is already throwing in the gauntlet as far as what the name of today's show is already, right? The show hasn't even started. He's already throwing his suggestions out there for what the name of the show is going to be. Episode 178. My blood is the spice. Okay. Episode 178. I have 1984 colors. Episode 178, I have an airbrush cannon. Okay. Episode 178, shall we paint a fowl? What? Episode 178, I'm charging the brush. My blood is now pumpkin spice. My God, man. My God. This last one. The good, the bad, and I'm the one with the airbrush. He's also making Devastators. Wow, Cock King, that was a lot there. That was a lot to read. Dimitri Apadin's joining us. Bro, the show's not even on yet. You're trying too hard. Cock King, he says, I'm just moving over the ideas that I had on Discord. I'm going to see if 130 and the last 30. What? Twitchy Kranos, hey guys, hey Twitchy, haven't been a while since I've seen that name for a bit. Been a while, how's it going? Yeah, it's been going pretty good, Twitchy. Haven't seen you around in a bit, so I assume everything's okay. I would assume. I'm assuming. You know what happens when you assume? You make an ass of you and me. Cocking 555. I smell snow. Snow, yeah. Well, she's already getting kind of dark. I mean, like right now, it's only 2:30, but the clocks rolled back last night. Hopefully, a lot of you guys, moved your clock back. Anyway, um, and yeah, I mean, like if you're looking, I'm in my lair at home, and it's dark in here, and I've got like I can open up the blinds right now, and like there's like no sunlight. It's a dark, gloomy day. It's dark and gloomy. It's depressing. I miss when there's sunlight. I need sunlight. Like Superman, I need sunlight. It powers me up. Twitch Granos, yeah, it won't be long for the snow now. All I can smell just now though, is fireworks. Okay. Dimitri Aberdeen, any holiday going on, or are they just for fun? Don't know. Aquamaster, hey! Where are we here? I don't know. We're talking about stuff in here. Matthew Adami. Oh, there he is. Whoops. There we go. LOL, Blonde Owen. Yeah, do you miss Blonde Owen? I miss Blonde Owen. Like, I don't know what that was, like, in that phase of his life. Like, because, I mean, he's like a really young fella. And, I mean, he was too young for the midlife crisis kind of thing. So, like, what was that, right? The whole blonde. Yeah, I don't know what that was. But, anyway. Dimitri Aberdeen, it's happening. Cocking 555, silly YouTube. Twitch Granos, hey, how's it going? It's going pretty good. Andy Clark, hey, get you off my lawn. Aquamaster, hey, get off my lawn. Matthew Demi, Mom, Chris is in the closet again. I'm in my lair. It's not a closet. It's kind of closet-like. It's really not a ton of room in my office, but yeah, it's a complete mess in here right now because my kids playing here all the time, and I say kids like like they're like little 5-year-olds, but no, we're talking 21 and 15. So, yeah. Every time I say how old my kids are, I always feel really freaking old. Anyway. Ramvi, hey monkeys, hey Chris, hey Ramvi. Dimitri Aberdeen, is it just me, or is the sound a bit low? Is the sound a bit low? Well, we can fix that just a little bit, I think. Maybe? Can I go higher than 100? Hey, I can go higher than 100. Let's go 105. Alright, we'll take it up to 105, and we'll see if that blows everybody's hair back. Comments. Where are we? The Wallio? Yeah, kind of low. Is it kind of low? Really? Maybe I should bring the mic up closer to my face. I don't know. I turned it up with just a hair. Couple dBs, decibels. Hopefully that's a little bit helpful. Whoa, Dr. Xantos, greeting monkeys. Well, those spooky shadows in the back. Yeah, I know this. You seen that one form run by. I don't know what that was about, but anyway. Jim White, hello fellow monkeys or humans. Hello fellow humans. Matthew Demi, what's Quirk's channel? Quirk's channel is crap. What is Quirk's channel called? I don't think it's just Quirk. I don't think. If you look on my channel and look at featured channels, I think his should be there. Oh, it is just Quirk. Yeah, his channel is just Quirk. Just Quirk. Did I spell that right? Yeah, I spelled it right. Did he spell it right? Yeah, he spelled it right. Speaking of Quirk, holy crap. So I went to the tournament yesterday, and Quirk has been playing that really stupid Brimstone list. Well, he brought it. And and I was thinking, I probably should bring something to counter that, because I know invariably I'll end up playing against him. And I did. So my first game, because what I brought was, and I'll probably post this on Discord, my army list. I'll post it in our little list discussion area. But I brought, it was a 1,000-point tournament list. I brought a 2 Wave Serpents, Wraith Blades, Wraith Guard with D Scythes, a Wraith Lord, and 2 Warlocks, one acting as my Warlord, and they were both in the Wave Serpents, and then I brought a Bone Singer. just for giggles, right? Give him a tryout. And of course, Bone Singer, he's pretty darn good. He's handy. Eldar, it's really handy having that guy who can fix, well, basically everything in the army. He could restore wounds on the Wraith Guard. He could restore wounds on the Wraith Lord. And he can fix the vehicles. I mean, like, he's all around good guy to have in the army. In fact, might want to try and squeeze in a couple in bigger games. And 1,000 points, just one, because any more, it's kind of, I don't know. But anyway, so I brought that. First game, played against a really great fella, Matthew, I believe his name was. And really good fella, really great player. He brought Custodes. And the first tournament that, like when 8th edition came out, me and Quark ended up playing, and I tried my Wraithguard list against Custodes, and it didn't do well. And so I wasn't thinking that, oh my god, this guy's gonna, he's gonna stomp the crap out of me, and which he pretty much did. He did stomp the crap out of me, but I won on objectives, and so I ended up scoring a major win on that one because I beat him by 3, and so awesome stuff, great. Even though he kicked the crap out of me, I only had like a Wave Serpent, a Warlock, or no, Bone Singer, and Wraithguard unit with the blades, because I wasn't going to throw the blades against his custodians, because like they're just going to kick the crap out of me anyway. So like why commit those guys to get them killed, right? When I could just grab an objective later on with them. And so that's what I did, and they held an objective. So that was the first game. Second game, I was supposed to play against, I think, Nurgle, but then I think Dan substituted, and so I ended up playing a relatively new player. And she was really good, and so I didn't take it easy on her, but, I wasn't going, full try hard kind of thing. I was just, because she wasn't really all that confident in the rules, and so, kind of just basically just let her, explain what this and that, let her make her decisions, but, give her all of her options, you know what I mean? Like even the best tactical moves, and, basically how to basically telling her how to kill me, essentially. And that second mission was Relic, and at the end of the game, I held the Relic, and so won a major victory there. Even though she was doing really well in the beginning, but then once my Wraithguard units jumped out and just kind of beat on the Harlequins, and my Warlocks, I took Jinx, Protected Jinx, and Quicken, and what's that? Quicken, and what's the other part of Quicken? Restrain. Very effective. It was very effective against the Custodes, reducing their movement down and taking off their armor save and invulnerable save. And against the Harlequins, it was very effective, reducing their save and restraining them. Oh, restraining Harlequins? Oh man, that's the way to go. That completely fouls their game right up because they can't move. They're just like, oh, I can't quite move. You know what I mean? And so Harlequins need to move. They need to get into position. And so, again, like I said, she was a newer player, and I wasn't like taking it easy on her, but I wasn't also just gonna let her win because again you guys know Chris. Chris is a tough love kind of guy, and of course I watched her third game because I was the second game. Yeah, I watched her third game, and she was playing much better, and she was much more confident what did what and who was doing where and what to move. You know what I mean? She did a lot better. I don't think she won the game, but I think she played a much better game. So which was very good. And of course tournaments, also those kind of things like local tournaments. You get the people who don't play too often, like myself. I don't get to play too often. And, you get the people who, really try hard and want to win all the time, which takes me to Quark. So Quark is the final game for me. And it was kind of a dice off that I could have either played Quark or somebody else. And I said, I don't really care. So I got thrown Quark. And Quark's Brimstone list was essentially a bunch of Brimstones, Malefic Lords, the Tzeentch character who throws up that bubble where basically nobody can get, or everybody has a -1 to hit against him. And he took 2 Basilisks. He was basically playing the armor, the Renegades, a Renegades list. Essentially was what he was doing. He's playing Renegades. Oh, and he had a bunch of, Malefic Lords, which is the Psykers, human Psykers, right? So he had a whole bunch of those. And yeah, we were playing Vanguard, which was diagonal deployment zones. The mission was just straight up kill. It was no mercy. It was no mercy. And my plan initially, because I only had 3 drops essentially, I had just the 2 wave servants with everybody hiding inside and the Wraith Lord. And really, my plan initially was just kind of sit back and keep shooting at him. It was like turn 3, and like we had not even killed each other yet. We were just kind of wounding each other. I was killing a couple brimstones here and there, but I was only bright lancing brimstones. You know what I mean? And so like it kind of sucked because in those kind of instances, I wish I would have kept with say something like shuriken catapults or cannons, just to to deal more hits, because that's what you need to do. Is that you need to decide, because I mean like brimstones, they still have a 4 invulnerable save, which is kind of dumb. They should actually move them to a 5 invulnerable save. Brimstone should be a 5, only dealing 1 mortal wound. You know what I mean? Because their power level is just too low, and a 4 invulnerable save is just a little too darn good for guys who are only power level 2 or 3. You know what I mean? Like, they're just a little too darn good. They're too tar pit like. And so, anyway, I end up playing him. I end up getting really bored, and so I end up making really big mistakes. But then he opened himself up, and I whiffed a bunch of rolls. It would have been spectacular if my blades could have gone in and just beat up all his Malefic Lords, but I whiffed a bunch of rolls. The critical moment, whenever I need something to happen, it doesn't happen, but that's the way the game goes, right? So, yeah, and so it ends, and of course, I think Quirk took best overall, so he took the grand prize, and Chris and I took what did I take? Best painted. So, went home with something, right? Anyway, because yeah. At least I got best painted, right? So, oh well. But I had fun. Played good people. Felt like smacking Quirk. But that brimstone list is really annoying. But it gets shut down really easy. And like I said, something was telling me I should have took Calyxus Assassins. I should have just took a couple Calyxus Assassins just for the eventuality that I was going to face Quirk. Which is what I should have did. But I didn't. And, because those Malefic Lords, he had like 9 of them. And I mean, like, and he perilled once. Out of all his psychic tests, he perilled once. And I think he said that was the first time he perilled all day. And I was like, how can you roll that many tests without, perilling? I mean, seems kind of funny. But anyway, it was a good game, though. It was fun. Definitely go again. I think the other ones are going to be a doubles, I think we're going to do. So, but it's going to be like random doubles. Should be kind of interesting. Where am I? Ramby, hi monkeys, hi Chris, Dr. Xantus, greetings, Jim White, hello fellow humans, Matthew Adami, what's Quirk's chat? Oh yeah, I already read that. Guymere Alfair, there he is, Guymere. Oh, I missed the name, where's it go? Where'd it go? There he is. Hello monkeys and our lord. The Gim, what's this? The Gim, there he is, the Gim. The Gim. Paulos01, hey guys, hey. Matthew Adami, episode 178. Chris is trapped in the closet again. I'm not trapped. Dimitri Abedin, I have a question. Do you use any special bulbs while you're painting, Chris? Like daylight, for example. Yes, I do. I'm a big advocate of daylight bulbs because, again, they do cast a pure white light. And that's what you're looking for. You want a white light. Usual, normal kind of tungsten. It's kind of hard to find tungsten bulbs these days, but before, with tungsten bulbs, they had the white frosting on them, but they still cast like a yellow haze, and that would actually kind of mess with your color mixtures because the light is not casting the right light. And so when you're doing mixtures and stuff like that, yeah, you want a pure white light. Fluorescent lights can cast a really overly blue haze onto stuff, so fluorescence, even the daylight fluorescence can still throw a bit of a haze. But really, the light bulbs you're looking for are in that 51 to 53 Kelvin type range. That's the bulbs you're looking for, and that's going to give you a white light. If they say daylight, essentially, daylight bulbs. Yes, I highly recommend them. Definitely get yourself some. They're the best lights to be working under, especially if if you aren't working in a bright area, like where you get lots of sunlight and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely. Mad cow crazy. Bah, how am I late? How late am I? You're not too late. I only started this at 2:30 my time. I don't know what it is your time. Eric Fountain. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Grim Tetchler. Hey, all monkeys. Hey. Twitchy Kranos. Yay, Chris. Or hey, Chris. Yeah, all good. Change in work schedule, so being busy at nights and weekends. Mikey Egan. Afternoon, Chris. Afternoon. Jim White. What was that? Just evidence his hot drink was actually coffee or hot chocolate. It was coffee. Coffee with a little bit of creamer in it. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. I'm going to spill it on my... I'm going to show you guys spill it. I messed up. But yeah, it's just coffee because I'm at home. So I have my pot of coffee. I mean, I could have a beer. I don't have any beers. I didn't buy any beers this weekend because Chris has been taking it easy on the beers. But I've actually been buying more whiskey. So I've been drinking a lot of Jameson these days. Oh, Jameson, that's good stuff. Oh. Well, where are we? The Wally O coffee, I bet. Yeah, it's coffee. Coffee. Paulos 01, mulled wine? What's mulled? Mulled wine. What's that? I don't know what that is. Matthew, I mean, Chris, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a friggin' duck. It is a friggin' duck. Is it? The Gim. Are those suspenders? Very sexy. More sexy if you were shirtless now. Yes, they are suspenders. Because it's Sunday. And, you know, why not? People were giving me all sorts of shit before when I switched to suspenders. Because I occasionally wear my suspenders. Just because, you know, I don't feel like wearing a belt. And, you know, they're comfy. And I want to keep my pants up. And you know what really the big pain is? Why I like suspenders? Is, well, I mean, the fellas will agree. I don't know if the girls will agree with this one, but the fellas will agree that when you go to the washroom and you're standing there, and you know you're standing there and you undo your zipper and everything like that you know, some of us the pants will fall, right? And you're constantly hanging on your pants, and you know what I mean. You're doing all this, and you know you're trying to keep your pants up, and while you're trying to go to the washroom, and you know maybe that's why you know oftentimes it gets sprayed everywhere. I don't know. I can't say. I can only speak from personal experience. But, yeah. So with suspenders, though, the stuff stays up, and I can just do my business as normal. And I'm sure a lot of you really cared about that. But, you know. Ramvi, Chris, you can go even higher, Monkey King. I can go higher? Oh, like on the decibels? Yeah, you guys think the decibels can still go up a little bit? I can go a little higher. Let's take it up. Let's take it up to 110. Let's crank the knob to 11. Rip the knob off. Danish artist. The colors look different depending what light you use, and if you painted with regular light bulbs, the color will look different in daylight, and so on. Right. So you always want to try and get that close approximation to daylight. Daylight being the ultimate light source, right? Because it casts complete light, complete white light, right? And so light bulbs, they can try and emulate that. And usually sunlight at that range is usually in that 5,000 to 53 to 54, 55 Kelvin range. Paulos 01, Chris, just got an airbrush and used it once, and the thing terrifies me. Have you got any suggestions to build up my confidence? Yeah, don't be scared. It's a brush. It's I mean, if you were a little bit concerned about using a paintbrush before, well then, you know, just think of it that way. Like if that made you kind of I don't know, this is a new step, new direction. It can be kind of, you know, not scary, but you know, you'll be a little bit apprehensive. Practice on like paper and stuff like that, and practice the paint, and just use a little bit of paint and just draw squiggly lines and do circles and feel how the brush flows and how the paint flows and how, you know, as you pull the brush back and how the spray goes, and as you get really close, play with the PSI. Turn the PSI down to like 10 and see how close you can get to the paper. Turn it way up and see how far back you are. You know what I mean? Play with the brush. Experiment with control and flow. And I think that will get you more confident. Just practice on a piece of cardboard, the boxes that the models come in. Whatever it is, just play. Just play. And, you know, you'll get over it. You'll become much more comfortable in it. And also to alleviate a lot of concern, a lot of things we use the airbrush for, as modelers go, we don't even touch the surface on what actual artists use the airbrush for. Actual airbrush artists who use the airbrush all the time to do like illustration and auto body work and stuff like that, those guys are real masters of the airbrush. Anybody who's doing models with the airbrush, they're not a master of the airbrush. Okay? If they're a master of the airbrush, let me see some of their illustration work with the airbrush. Then they're a master of the airbrush. Those are the only masters of airbrushing that I know of, are the guys who are doing illustration and auto body work, because they're really putting those skills and they're using all the nuances involved with airbrushing. Anybody else, they're not. They're not even using the tool properly. Myself included. Priming, base coating, zenithal highlights, maybe some OSL. That's 4 things. I have 5 fingers and I only counted the 4 things, right? Illustration artists, guys who are doing actual pictures with their airbrush, they're the real pros. They're the real guys. Those are the masters. And if you want to pick up tips on airbrushing, on control and flow, look to those guys. Because those guys are the real masters. Mikey Egan, Fate Weaver? No, it wasn't Fate Weaver. Changeling. Yes, Chris Simon. Yes, Changeling. That was the guy. He throws that little bubble around and everybody's -1 to hit all the little doodads. Very annoying. Oh, very annoying. That whole army was just AIDS to deal with. Oh. I mean, we could have went to the final turn and not kill each other, but I was bored and that's no way to win a friggin' game. And I gave it a shot. It kicked me in the ass, and I mean, it could have just as easily went the other way, and it would have been spectacular. Could have just gone the other way as well. But who knows? So yeah, next time bring Clux Assassin. If he's bringing brimstones, or anybody's bringing brimstones, I'm bringing Clux Assassin. Or 2. Kilo 8878. Woo! Chris at home. Hello all. Hello Kilo. Mikey Egan. Chris, can we hear your thoughts on the new Eldar Codex? Oh my god. What would you like to know? I think it's fantastic. Some contend that Eldar are become very cheesy with the Codex. I don't like the word cheesy. I mean, there's a lot of things that go very well with the book. For example, playing an all-foot Eldar army. Like Steve played a few games, showing like playing Altiok. Altiok is really the greasy one, and that's what I played at the tournament too, because I played that, because I'm going to take the -1 to hit across the board. Why not, right? And even on foot, they're really, really good. Jet bikes, really, really good. Tanks, really, really good. Wraiths, really, 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 really good. I mean, they got a really great bus all over the place. Their points costs come way down. Not way down, but probably about a 25% decrease overall in the army. Because Steve had made a list, a 2,000 point list, and he matched the list that he made versus using the old index, and he was like almost 500 points above the index, which means that he had more stuff in that army according to the new codex versus the old index. And of course, the Eldar get all their second powers back, I think it's all fantastic. I like the book. I'm an avid Eldar player. I've played Eldar for ages. I've played other armies before, but I always came back to Eldar, and because they match my playstyle. I like maneuverability and overwhelming firepower. Yes, when they start getting shot, they die really fast, but that's the trade-off. And oftentimes, a lot of players who are more experienced at this game, they do play Eldar, because that is kind of really, it's really, like, Eldars are a really hard army to master. You have to really know how to maneuver, how to plan ahead, And Eldar units, one unit does one thing very well, right? Dark Reapers are only good at one thing. Fire Dragons are only good at one thing. If you're sending Fire Dragons into close combat, you're doing it wrong, right? So, where Space Marine units, they can do everything, right? Space Marines, they move pretty good. They can shoot really well. They fight hand-to-hand combat really well. They're really well armored. I mean, they got it all. And so, tactically, playing Space Marines is, almost a no-brainer because they're just so darn good, right? Overall. Whereas Eldar, you got to use a little bit of skills, to win some games. It's not an auto win to play with Eldar. You can lose horribly with Eldar. Sam Potts, what's up, monkeys? How's it going, Chris? It's going very well. Dr. Xantos wants to know what everybody's been painting lately. Aaron Seach, hey Chris, howdy monkeys, sup up, happy Sunday. Bat94, a little late to the party, but hey everyone. Hey, Clumsy Juggler, there it is. There he is, Clumsy Juggler. Hello everyone, Tina Shardis. I have been painting minions, some Eschers, and a Malifaux Dock and Spire. Cool. Aaron Seach, episode 178, The Good, the Bad, and the Monkeys. Haven't we not done that title before? That sounds very familiar. Have we done that title? Somebody double check. Have we done that title? The Good, the Bad, and the Monkeys. I know, I'm pretty sure we've done a Good, the Bad, and the Monkeys before. Not to say, Aaron, you don't have an original thought in your head, but I'm just saying, I'm thinking that, yeah, we've done it. If we haven't, then maybe we'll have to have that one. Jeff Alonist. Chris, in a dark dungeon? I am in a dark dungeon. I'm in my office at home. I'm at home today. At home. It's on a Sunday. And I'm just chilling out at home, And because I didn't do a show yesterday, because I was at a tournament. Oh no, I'm going to sneeze. No, not. There we go. I figured I'd do a show today. So why not, right? Why not? Have our cake and eat it too? Dimitri Abbott, and any whiskey in the coffee? No whiskey in the coffee because I have no whiskey. No, my coffee is just with a little bit of creamer, and that's it. Just a little bit of creamer. Actually, I'm getting kind of. It's getting kind of cool. I need to top up here. Goran Iron Fist, the darkest dungeon. Guymere Oliver, episode 178. Cock King 555's premature ejaculation. Yeah, he was a little premature on all that. he had a great big bank of stuff ready to go, and just as the show's about to start, he just let it all go. He didn't space it out throughout the show. He didn't throw out, every once in a while. He didn't time it well. It was all just one shot right away. Of course, Guy Muir would go there. Of course, I would have went there too. But Dr. Zantos, nice. I haven't been home in 3 weeks. You haven't been home in 3 weeks now. No idea when I can go back. Asbestos problems at my apartment, and no one can go in before it is cleared. Holy crap! Really? That's crappy, dude. I'm sorry to hear that. 3 weeks. Good grief. Now, have you lived there long? Like, do you have to go get tested now? Like, for, like, asbestos in your lungs and stuff? Like, my God, man. I hope all is well. I hope there's nothing. I mean, it's a pain in the ass to be out of your place for 3 weeks. But I certainly hope you haven't been there long that you've been exposed to it. Because asbestos is no joke. That's some serious stuff. I hope everything's okay, doctor. Polo01, hot wine, Chris. We drink it around Christmas in England. Hot wine? I mean, I guess, sure, okay. I mean, yeah, like, why not, right? I mean, typically, red or white wines, I drink, like, red, I typically drink slightly chilled, more like room temperature. White wine, I typically prefer chilled. But, you know, room temperature is fine as well. Drinking it warm, I mean, like, it sounds weird, but, I mean, sake, right? I mean, is rice wine, right? That's a Japanese rice wine. You drink that with sushi and sashimi, I mean, and I get that all the time. Every time I go for sushimi, oh, you bet your ass there's a bottle of sake next to me. Just help cook that fish, that's all. That's all it's for, is to help cook the fish. But yeah, I guess warm wine, or hot wine, I should say. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Matthew Dammy, you need Christmas suspenders. I do need Christmas. I need more suspenders. I'd like to get like a red set, and a white set. Yeah, and some Christmas ones, some hollies and stuff like that. I'm going down things. Why not? You know what? Does anybody know? Do they make 40K suspenders? 40K with like little Aquillas on them, or like little Space Marine symbols or something? I don't know. I'm just guessing here. I doubt it, but if it's a thing, let me know. The Gim suspenders rock. They're good enough for Grandpa. They're good enough for you. Dimitri Abbott 178. I use suspenders so it's easier to pee. I do. That's not the only reason. It was just an added benefit. Keep my pants up while I'm peeing. Because let's go back to the subject here. Because have you ever gone to like, you know, a public restroom or whatever, and you have like the urinal stands? I mean, like obviously the girls aren't really going to identify with this, but guys will. And you know, there's a bunch of stalls, and I mean, like you go and you're standing at the urinal, and you know you're trying to hold up your pants while you're trying to pee, and like you're peeing there, or your pants are falling down, and there's a bunch of dudes around, and I mean, like, no, I want my pants to stay up, and so I'm off and kind of, you know, doing all this and trying to keep my pants up, and wear suspenders, don't have to worry about that, right? Oh man, Jim White, more information to consider when buying suspenders, fellows. Oliver Pedersen, hey Chris, how will you prime a figure? Air, spray, or brushes? I used to use spray cans all the time, but once I became more comfortable with the airbrush, I use airbrush entirely now to prime my models. Just because I can do it inside, you know, whereas spray cans, you know, you got to go outside because the aerosol and the chemical fumes and all that. Doing it by brush is kind of tedious, but you can make sure that you get all the nooks and crannies and get a nice smooth coverage on a model. So, you know, if you want a lot of control, doing it by brush is also pretty good as well. I like airbrush because I can do it inside, and I know how much to lay down on a model, and, you know, I've got a pretty good system for how much primer I need on a model when I'm doing it by airbrush. And I often use Vallejo Surface Primer. I know a lot of people don't like that. Well, they don't like the black, but I don't use the black that often because I do find the black does kind of chunk up a bit. I often use the light gray. I often will prime in light gray all the time, just because I prefer light gray for just being able to see the primer, because white sometimes under bright lights is kind of just, you know what I mean? And black, it's like you're like concentrating to look and fine details, whereas light gray, you know, you can see all where you need to put paint. Jeff Alonst, yeah, sounds like tips for pissing. Well, it's not piss tips, but you know, it's not quick tips, it's piss tips. Raziel Wargamer, there he is. Never fear, Raziel's here. Dimitri Abaddon, Giger was the best airbrush master, period. I think so. I would agree with that. Giger was the best. I would agree. Sam Potts, how will the new location affect Way the Brush? Will there be a period of time with no shows while this transaction takes place? No, because I can do this show from home. I can do this from home. I can always do this show from home. It's just my office, because it has all my painting and stuff like that, makes for a better backdrop. I mean, I could, you know, I could take a picture of my office, green screen myself right now, and have a picture of my office in the background. And, you know, that could work, right? You guys would never know. You'd never know. So, yeah. But no, when the transition period, I mean, for when we move, I can't see us taking more, like, as long as we do this right, we shouldn't take more than 2 weeks to get into our new space. I mean, we're talking a couple days of tear down, a day or two move, and a day or two build up. I mean, that's less than a week. That's a week. But I'm saying 2 weeks. I'm giving us the benefit of the doubt that it would only take us 2 weeks to move. So, doing the show from home, obviously, is not an issue. I mean, I've said it before. I have the same upload speed here as I do at work. So, this show, like the quality is the same. I mean, like, it's just, the only difference being is my backdrop. My backdrop's different. But I mean, like, I've got, like, War Machine Colossals above my head here. I've got my Star Wars kits. Oh, yeah, I just recently picked up this kit. Hold on. I recently got this guy. He's so cool. Yeah, because I already got R2 and R4. R5. Excuse me. But yeah, I finally got this guy, though. Oh, he's so pretty. And I watched one video on how to assemble this guy. And basically, because, like, the parts on this, oh, so shiny. I would love to know. Yeah, here's a question. Okay, because everybody who's been following me on the Vault, right? Mini Wargaming's Vault. Everybody who's been following there knows that I've been playing around with Molotov and Spastic Chrome paint lately, right? And somebody had asked, is there a gold? And now, I haven't seen one, but there has to be one, right? Because look at that. That's a gold. Like, that's C-3PO, and he's completely gold. This is a chrome gold on plastic. This has to be sprayed onto the model. The model wasn't made with chrome plastic. This was applied after the fact. I want to put this together, guys. I want to put this guy together right now. I'm also going to weather him, too. But anyway. So, yeah, I got C-3PO. So now I got my droids. I also got to find another BB-8. I am toying with the idea of picking up the 1.5 scale BB-8. A BB-8 that's half the size, but twice the fun. Yeah. So, yeah. I can't remember where I was going with any of that, but C-3PO. I'm excited to put him together at some point. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. I was wear gloves when I put them together. Because I don't want to get a bunch of fingerprints and mar up the details. And yeah. You got to be really careful with that one. Because all that chrome bits. And if you want to preserve that chrome. Sand pots. Oh no, I already read that one. You missed it too. This show is late. But I am okay with that. Oh, this show is late. This show is late? Yeah, it's way late. Well, because, I mean, it's late by a day and some, so. Yeah. It's late by 26 hours. Jeff Alonso is planning on building a Stompa from beer cans. Seems like a good project. Sure. We gotta give it a good paint job. I don't know about beer cans, though, because cutting up beer cans, I mean, they got really sharp edges. You might cut yourself. Whereas you might want to use things like plastic cups and, things like that. So just so that you don't, hurt yourself and, end up cutting your wrist open or something. I don't know. Got really dark there. Daniel Pagey, hello monkeys. Quick question: how would you paint something that looks like smoke as if it was being trapped in a spirit stone? I'm planning on doing that on my Wraith Guard. Ooh, very interesting. I think really it's just creating those slight gradients and just creating the little swirls. You know what I mean? It actually would be very interesting because you could do like the typical gem effect where the colors start off dark and go brighter at the bottom, but the smoke haze would be highlighted from above, so the smoke would catch light from above, and that would, and whatever colors. So, say for example, you did a blue stone, do a slightly desaturated color for your smoke inside, and push the color darker a bit. And desaturate so it feels a little further back in the stone. Yeah, that's the way I'd go about it. Danish artist. Are the Tyranids still troublesome? You mean as far as the new book is concerned? Anyway. Matthew Dammy, episode 178. Quirk is trying too hard. He is try hard. He's Captain Try Hard. Well, that's what happens when you're adopted and your parents don't love you. You know, you act out like that. Johnny's Chop Shop. Painting today. No chopping to be done today. Oh, okay. Well, good. Enforcer 357. Question. I have been painting Space Wolves and trying to make a Longfang symbol. Any ideas? P.S. I just started Warhammer 40k. No prior experiences. The Longfang symbol. Are you talking about like the squad marking, the white and black lines? The easiest way to go about making that, if that's the shoulder pad you're talking about, because that's the only way I can distinguish Longfangs, right? Because Blood Claws is a red yellow, Wolf Guard are black yellow, Grey Hunters are red black, red black, and Longfangs are white black, right? That's the way it all went. So anyway, I would paint the entire shoulder pad white or light gray, whichever way you want to go, and then basically kind of start with the middle. I would go probably halfway down the shoulder pad and just start off with a dot that's kind of halfway, depending, and then from there draw a triangle, a very long kind of triangle. Now there's a few ways you can go about this, because you can start off with a dot there and then start off with another dot on the other side and then another on the other side, so kind of have 3 dots. And then you can just build basically 3 triangles like that, following those 3 dots along that central plane across the shoulder pad. That would be one of the easiest ways to go about it. Just start off with a coordinate system. So start off with the middle. Imagine where the middle is and put a dot right in that center. And then that section on the other side, a third of that, imagine where the halfway point is and put a dot there. And then the other side, imagine the middle, dot, and then connect up the lines down like that, and then fill them in with black, and you have your shoulder pad. That's probably one of the easiest ways I can think of and most straightforward. Of course, the other things to bear in mind is, of course, when you're freehanding things like that, and these are my typical freehanding tips that I often recite to people, is make sure that your colors are thinned down. Not so thin they run like water. I often would recommend thinning with thinning medium. Like if you're using Citadel colors, use Lahmian medium to thin it down. And use your finest detail brush that you have, and make sure that your brush is perpendicular to the surface that you're working, right? So you don't want to have too many angles, because then that's when you get into varying line thicknesses. Versus if you stay perpendicular, you're more likely to maintain a consistent line thickness as you work your way across. And as long as the paint is flowing nice and thinly, it will flow out of the brush just like a pen. It'll just, and you'll be able to do all that. So hopefully that helps. Who asked that question? I don't remember. Oh, Inverser 357. Yeah. Dimitri Abedin about hot wine. No wonder French hate you. Red wine is supposed to be room temp. Yeah, that's often where I drink red wine. I sometimes when we open the bottle, we have a little bit left. It gets thrown in the fridge. I mean, I gotta leave it out for a while before I can even touch it, because when it's really cold, oh man, it just hurts. And it tastes funny. It doesn't taste the same. Red wine at room temperature is much more floral. Dark Commission. Hey, Chris and Monkeys. Hey, Dark Commission. What time are we at here? 3:20. What time did I start this? I don't even know when I started this. 2:30. That's when I started. So we won't. Holy crap! We've almost been on for an hour. I've been still talking here. Dr. Santos, the owner wanted to redo the bathroom. The contractor didn't take a sample before starting the whole thing. Turns out it was asbestos in there, and no one can go in until it's been cleaned. Ugh, man, that's a shame, dude. I definitely would kick that landlord's ass, I think, for not doing the proper due diligence. Thomas Rasmussen, hey monkeys. Mad Cow Crazy, been building models like a madman, snorting resin dust for 3 weeks now. Oof. Either I have a cold or my lungs are full of dust. I'm probably thinking the latter. Need to get a fan to blow out on my air when I work with resin so any dust is blown away. Another one too, when working with resin, is to work with it in the water. That's another one. So you don't have any dust. Just like, you have like, if you just have like a kitchen sink and you just fill it with water at the same time that you're cleaning them from like, the mold release stuff, you could also take your files and stuff like that and you file them underwater. Especially if you have metal files or whatever, yeah, you can just give them a good scrub. Just dry your tools off really good because that way they won't rust. But otherwise, yeah, and that'll alleviate the dust. And then just when you drain the sink, it all gets washed down the drain. It's another idea. Anyway. Dr. Xantos, they didn't say spread to the rest of the apartment besides the hallway and the bathroom. I'm still going to clean the living room though. It's going to be at least a week before I can go back, maybe 2. Staying with my parents at 250 kilometers away for now. Oof. Only had little stuff before I left, so no paints or brushes with me. Oh. Paulos 01, heat the wine in a pan, but not to boil it. It's also a particular type of red wine, not sure which though. Who cares though? It's alcohol. And we love the French too. Centuries of spreading the love. Yeah. Yeah, because there was never any wars between England and France. Ramby, I'm in father's cottage alone with beer and my paints. Really nice. Awesome. It sounds like that actually sounds really nice. Just kind of jump away into the cottage, take your paints with you, and just, yeah, that sounds like fun. You know what? I'm coming. Thomas Rasmussen, how do you feel about the move? Must be exciting. I am excited for the move. I'm really looking forward to it. Dave can't get that project completed fast enough. I mean, he can only work at so much. But I mean, yeah, I want it to be done now. I want it to be done now, and I want to move now. I want to move now because where we are right now, it's all right. But what is going to happen? The next phase, I want that next phase to come now. But the thing is, though, is for that next phase to occur, we got to do it right. And we, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that got to happen before then. So, it's better that it's going to be like spring before we move in. But, no, I mean, yeah, it's going to be good though. I'm excited. Oh, I'm excited. And it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a whole new ball game. Mini Wargaming is not going to be the same once we move. We're going to be a whole new thing. It's going to be a completely different. It's going to be all changed. It's not going to be the same business anymore. Now, does that mean that our videos and stuff like that is going to change? No. Quality? Maybe. But otherwise, that aspect, like what we're outputting, we might put out more. Don't know. Hard to say. But definitely, with the advent of the bunker and everybody coming to visit us and staying basically with us, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be Animal House. Hopefully not, because place gets destroyed. Aaron Seach. I think Angel Hernandez, I can never say that guy's name, could be considered a master of the airbrush based on what I've watched of his many paintings. He uses the airbrush for everything. Sure, but but can he produce? Can he take those skills and produce a picture? Like basically, when you're using the airbrush on a model, we're not using all the nuances of what can be done with an airbrush. And I mean, from what I've seen, he uses the airbrush no differently than anybody else uses it. He thins the colors, he turns his PSI up and down, he varies his distance. You know what I mean? What else is there? But mastery of the airbrush is technique, is in and out, is brushstroke. Have you ever seen some of these artists create eyelashes with an airbrush? Have you ever seen those artists do that? Go watch some of these illustration guys that are on YouTube. These guys are airbrush masters. They're airbrush masters. Now, if Angel or NL, whatever, however the hell you pronounce his name, if he is taking those skills, like if he was an illustration artist and he's taking those skills and applying them to miniature painting, awesome. Yes, fantastic. He is definitely he is a master. Don't get me wrong. He's a master of painting, miniature painting. But is he a master of the airbrush? Because if he's a master of the airbrush, then he can take those skills and apply them to canvas work. And that would make him a master in my regard. Anybody else? No. Like they just saw somebody else painting up their Warhammer models and started using an airbrush and said, you know what, I got to get an airbrush. And then they started using it. You know what I mean? And if he's been doing it for 20 years, I mean, again, he's just painting his models with it, he's not using the tool for what it can do. You know what I mean? Like, it's a brush. There's so much technique. I mean, a regular paintbrush, you know, I mean, has so many uses, and there's so much nuance to using a paintbrush. An airbrush is the same thing. It's not just spraying paint at something. It's a brush. And so, yeah, I know he's really great with the airbrush and uses it for everything. But I mean, he just simply masks off a bunch of areas. If you wanted to take the time and mask off every little section of a model, by all means, go right ahead. It takes a while. But he's often producing the box art for Infinity. And those models are fantastic looking. And they're painted to such a high regard. And I think Games Workshop has got it right, where they're showing achievable paint jobs on their box art and on their videos. They show very achievable paint jobs. And Infinity, I think that's why a lot of people are afraid of Infinity, because they're afraid that they got to paint those models just as good as he's got to do it. He's showing that high level of paint job on those models, which makes them look fantastic. I think that's wrong. I think you want to showcase some of those models, but that's not your selling point of the model. That model can be painted like that. A more simplistic paint job should be shown on those models, and I think that's where Infinity would really start to, I think, come into their own and become a much more popular game, because then their models don't look so damn intimidating. And I think that's why a lot of people avoid Infinity, is because the models look so intimidating, and because that paint job for all that box art and all those tiny little details and everything like that is too intimidating for a lot of people. Whereas 40K, right, the box art, those models, they have very simplistic paint jobs on them. They're not very complex. Where am I? Ramvi. Nope, already read that one. Nope, read that one. Reziel, Chris. Thanks so much for your Chrome videos. Are you liking the Spastics or the Molotow better? Ah, there's the question. Honestly, for our miniature painting needs, Spastics is better. I'm going to say it. Spastics is better. Molotow gives you a much clearer, better chrome look, but it's limited. It does not work both ways. Spastics works in that direction and in that direction. When you apply it to a surface, it's chrome this way and it's chrome that way. Molotow is chrome only one way. Molotow, you have to lay a lot on a surface initially to get that chrome effect. You actually cannot build that chrome up. You can't, it's like put a layer down, put another layer down, put another layer down. You have to spray it all at once onto that area and know how much you're laying on and lay it down to get that chrome effect. You have to do it that way. You can't slowly build it up. Whereas Spastics, you can build it up. You can build Spastics up. Just how we work with our normal miniature paints, we can build it up like that. The Molotow, yeah, you have to lay it all at once. And when you do lay it all at once, you have to let it dry for a long time. Spastics, it's dry almost immediately, because it's a really it's essentially an enamel base. It's a lacquer based paint, and Molotow's a lacquer as well, but it takes forever to dry. I've watched a couple of videos where Buddy says the Molotow was tacky after like an hour, And I find, yeah, it is tacky after an hour, but you leave it for 24 hours and it's not tacky anymore. It takes a long time for that stuff to cure. And because you have to lay it on so thick, it takes a long time. So imagine paint, you know, I mean, like you have to lay it thick to get that nice chrome effect. That takes a while for that. So I mean, once you lay it on a model, you gotta go leave it alone for 24 hours. You can't even play with it and then come back and then play with it again. So whereas the Spastics, yeah, it doesn't give you quite the same mirror chrome. It only, in my regard, only loses out a little bit in that regards, but it's much more easier to use. And if I was a commission painter who wanted to do chrome effect, I would be using Spastics much more than Molotow. And Spastics is a great big bottle. I think it's like 4 fluid ounces for $10 versus Molotow, that paint refill, that was $40 some US. That was $40 in that tube. That tube you see me holding in the video, that's damn near $50. Damn near $50 for that refill versus the Spastics, which was 4 full fluid ounces. That was $10. So $10 versus $50. Yes, the $50 one gives you much better chrome, but for our miniature needs, I'm highly skeptical that is better than the Spastic one. I prefer the Spastic one better. Spastics. Not Spastic. So anywho, yeah. So as my unofficial review of it, yeah. I lean more towards Spastics than Molotow. Molotow, it's wonderful, but man, I mean, if you want to quickly get through some work and get some work done, it's not the way to go. It is not. So hopefully that answers your question. Rezio, was that Rezio? Yeah, it was Rezio. Ramby, episode 178. Quirk is adopted and his parents don't love him. There we go. That's it. Let's go there. That's the name of the show. I'm sorry, but I'm running with that name for the show. Such a jerk. Oh shit. Oh man, hold on here. Where am I? Oh, I'm trying to get to the spot where I can edit this damn video. Oh man, so many damn buttons I gotta click here to make this stuff work. There we go. Kirk is adopted, and his parents don't love him. But they don't. They don't love him because he is adopted. He is. Oh man. Enforcer 357. Yes, the squad marking. Thank you so much. Yeah, no problem, buddy. And feel free to ask questions anytime. And of course, you can always ask your questions at chris@miniwargaming.com. Just send me an email. Of course, send me pictures of your efforts as well. Aaron Seach, I've said this on Discord and I'm saying it here. Iron Maiden style email jingle. Well, the email jingles have been the domain of Guymere Alfer, aka Carl, aka Beer and Blood Bowl, and he's been fantastic to donate his valuable time to make those jingles. So we'll plant this little seed in his brain. Iron Maiden email jingle. There we go. So it might be months before that permeates into some sort of plant, but who knows? Where am I? Dr. Zanto's got to depart. Have fun, monkeys. Later, dude. Twitch Kranos. See you later, buddy. Geez, everybody's got to go. Dagobah Dave. Hello from Oregon. Hello, Dagobah Dave. That's fun to say. Dagobah Dave. Dagobah Dave. Dagobah Dave. Dagobah Dave. Jim White. Does this mean, Chris, you have a portrait painted with an airbrush on canvas, or is this too early to hope for such an awesomeness? I've actually started playing around. I showed a video on Twitch. I had filmed it. where I was basically working on a canvas. I haven't touched the canvas in a while, but I was basically doing it by airbrush. I was seeing how far I could go with a lot of the stuff. I really didn't paint all that much. I really got to go back to it because I do want to commit that piece to canvas, and I have some great ideas on what I want to do for effects. It just getting the sharp lines, and I mean, that's it. That was what tripped me up. Is that I was gonna pick up a stencil so that I can get sharper lines going, and I keep forgetting to pick up the stencils. So I guess I should just freaking make one, right? So yeah. Anyway. Email time, Jeff. Yeah, I think we're getting close to email time. What time are we at? Holy crap, we're already well over an hour. So yeah, we better get some emails because it wouldn't be a way of the brush without some emails, right? Paulos01, agree about the infinity models. Yeah, oh definitely. Anybody who's relatively new to this hobby or has even been in for a while, and you know what I mean, like a lot of us get into it by the gateway game, which is usually like 40K or some sort of Games Workshop game. It's usually the way we all kind of come into this. Not always, but I would say it's like 51% of the way that most people are into this hobby. And Infinity, I mean, it's a fantastic game system from what I understand. I've never played a game of it, but from what I understand, it's a very good, solid game system. The miniatures, personally, I have a hard time getting into the game because of the miniatures, not because of the complexity of paint jobs, but because the factions they're like visually, the silhouettes don't look different to me. They all look like the same models to me. Because they all have that very anime feeling to them. They all feel like the same thing, right? 40K, Tyranids, and Space Marines, judging just by their silhouettes, they're very different. You could not confuse them for each other, right? Eldar and, Necrons, very, very different, right? Infinity, they all have the same kind of look. All the robots have a similar kind of look. They all have that anime style kind of look. And that's where I have a hard time, because it's like, oh, what faction do you want to play? Well, I don't know anything about the factions, so I go off by appearance. They all look the same. Why do I want to play this? They all look the same. There's no flavor. It's all, you know what I mean? It's the same reason why Horus Heresy, the game, has not really, gotten me excited, because it's all Space Marine stuff. It's all just Space Marines. Now, it's kind of cool in the same regards that you want to reenact, the famous battles in the stories, but otherwise it's just Space Marines, And that's how Infinity, I mean, I'm probably way off on that as far as Infinity is concerned. That's just my opinion. I mean, take it for whatever it's worth. But yeah, I mean, I kind of wish that there was more different looking models within faction. That factions didn't all look the same. That they all kind of had different kind of things. But then, I don't know. I guess maybe then they start feeling all like all the other games, I suppose. Having like weird tentacle aliens and having fat disease monsters, and you know what I mean? Like then they start looking like everybody else, right? So I don't know. But I mean, the models are beautiful. Don't get me wrong. The models are awesome. The paint jobs that Buddy does, Angel, he does fantastic paint jobs on them. They're great. They're beautiful models. But I mean, like I had the hard time with War Machine as well. And I loved War Machine, the previous edition of it. Anyway, I loved War Machine, but I had a really hard time getting into the game. Even though people were like, "Chris, you got to play this game. Chris, you got to play this game." I'm like, I don't know. Let me see the models, and I saw the Warjacks, and I was like, bleh. I was like, no way. It looks like crap. Look at these models. Who the frick sculpted these models? Like, it looks like amateur hour. Like, did they just, go to a high school and art class and say, "Hey, can you draw me up some robots?" Like, Then they got better, but then I played the game. And it was War Machine won me over because I played the game and I played it and the rules. I liked the rules. And at the time, I was getting into it. 6th edition, 6th edition 40K was still running rampant, or maybe it was still 5th edition, maybe 5th or 6th edition. Anyway, and I mean, the rules are so convoluted in Warhammer 40K. that, you know what I mean? Like you had all these rule discussions all the time with 40K. All the time you had, well, does this work with this? And don't I have this codex and this? And it's like, oh, for the love of Pete, let's just play the freaking game here. Whereas War Machine had very few rule ambiguities. And if you did run into a rules dispute, there was a very clear, concise way of figuring out the answer. Warhammer 40K does not have that, and still doesn't. It's Warhammer 40K is like a really fun game. I like 8th edition. I love 8th edition for how streamlined it is. I really, really enjoy 8th edition. It's probably my second favorite edition, and I like it. And you know, because it's got a much more streamlined rule edition, but there's still a lot of ambiguities between things, and they're not consistent wordings for their rules. Whereas War Machine was written by lawyers, and it's very clear. Once you get through the lawyerisms, you play the game, and it's very, very clear. But I had a hard time getting into it because of the models, and Infinity's the same way, and it's probably going to be any game I play that is not 40K, because I love 40K and I love my Eldar. That, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be a hard sell on any new game, you know. So anyway, Dimitri, if you paint too down to earth, it might ruin the appearance of the sculpt, though. Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, the way Games Workshop is showcasing their models these days through the videos and through the box art, I think is excellent, because it's not intimidating. You can see it's just a straight up color with a quick edge and then just a little corner. Bang, it's done, and it's good enough. They're showing basically a high tabletop standard. I would consider, yeah, the box art I would consider to be a more high tabletop standard, but that's debatable. Paulos01. Agree about the Infinity models, yeah. Ghost to Starman Deluxe, when you see the Discord message, but forget about the show. By the way, Chris, have you seen the new Citadel painting handle? If so, what do you think of it? I think it's alright. It's not something that's infringing on my design. I think it's infringing on somebody like Austin, Brush for Hire, Death Ray Designs, with the more paint handle type of handle. It looks very small, though, actually. I was looking at, I was trying to figure out how big that thing is, and it actually looks pretty small for holding onto a miniature. And it's got it looks a bit, somebody made the joke, it looks like a butt plug. And now that somebody made that joke, I can't not see the butt plug. But yeah, and it looks like it can take varying sizes of bases, which I kind of like. But I'm wondering, though, if it's got to have weight. If it doesn't have weight, if it feels like cheap, light plastic, that's unfortunate. It should have some weight to it. It should have a weight to it and counterbalance the model. And if it doesn't do that, then I think they missed an opportunity there. But otherwise, I mean, you know, it's not like they copied my design. They came up with something very, very complex. And unfortunately, when something is more complex, the more likely it is to break. And I mean, not to say that mine is the perfect design or anything like that, far from it, but it does the job, and it's very simple, and you know, I mean, you know, it's very durable. You know, I mean, like my handle, you could drop it on the floor, it's not likely to break. Versus that one, if it was to drop on the floor, I think it would break, especially if it landed on the top part where it's going to hold the models. I think that you'll break all those little things, because anybody have any of the GW cases, any of the army cases, all those things, all those handles break. The little catches and latches, they all break. So, am I saying don't get it? No, by all means. If it's a product you think you should have, get it. I haven't played with it yet. I'll probably do a quick review on it when it comes out. I think it comes out like this week or next week or something like that. So I'll probably pick one up just to review and just compare, you know. Is Games Workshop going to win me over? Who knows? Not likely. Again, I'm kind of a hard sell on stuff, so. Oh, man. Raziel Wargamer, I just watched Adam Savage paint cosplay Sora with Molotov and it looked amazing. I do like the luster, but I really liked how I saw you buffing the spastics. I want to use it for the Sanguinary Guard and accents on Imperial faction models. Yeah, I found working with the spastics much, much easier. The Molotov, to get that perfect chrome look, you have to really saturate. So imagine if you wanted that chrome eagle, like on the model's chest, okay? You have to lay that paint on very heavily and have confidence that that paint is going to recede as it cures. And then you have to leave that alone for up to 24 hours because of how thick it is. Speed painting, it is not. The spastics, couple little quick passes, bang, it's on the model, give it a second to dry, and you can come back in and hit it with whatever you want. In that regards, I like the spastics. And yeah, you just buff that off. You just take like an old, I showed with a t-shirt, but I think a microfiber cloth, the kind we use for cleaning glasses and stuff, and your monitors, use that, a microfiber cloth, and I think that would give you a much better a buffing experience. Buffing, cleansing, cleaning, buffing within itself. I think it's going to give you a better buffing. Oh man. Dimitri Abaddon, I agree. In my honest opinion, Infinity fashions don't have enough contrast between them. Yeah, exactly. If you were on the fence about getting into Infinity, get into it. Because everybody I know who plays the game, love it. So if you were on the fence about getting into Infinity, don't. Get into it. It's a good game. From what I understand, from what people tell me, they enjoy it. People told me War Machine was really good back in the day. And I really didn't listen. And when I got into it, I loved it. And I could see why everybody was in love with it. So, people who tell me that they really, really love it, I have not heard anybody tell me a bad experience with Infinity. I've not heard one. Everybody that I know who plays Infinity, love it. Get into it. If you were a fan, like if you were thinking about getting into it, get into it. You'll enjoy it. Especially if you've got people around in your gaming area who play it, get into it. Red Green 09. Get the ones in bikinis. Huh? Get the ones in bikinis? I'm not following. Loken Hoffman. I don't think I've read that name before. Hey Chris, any suggestions how to clean painted models covered by dust? I didn't give them an extra coating, so when I tried to clean them off with a wet cloth, colors wear off, but dry cloth can't do the job. Ooh, yeah, that's dangerous. Okay, so if models are covered by dust, typically what I will use is an older paintbrush, something with long bristles, and just like a light dusting. You can even use like an old feather duster, even like the Swiffer ones that has like this static action to it. That actually might even be better. Because you can just pass it over the model and it should collectively pull that dust particles off. Because dust is just sitting there. And unless, of course, it's really humid where you are, that dust settles more like into dirt. But then, like I often use, we're not in my office, so I don't have the paintbrush that I always use. But Citadel's brand new paintbrush. It's a big white paintbrush. It's got big, long hog hair bristles on it. They're kind of firm. It's hog or it's more like coarse hair bristles. Anyway, horse, hog, one of the two. They're really coarse bristles. But I often use that one for dusting my models. And I'll just use that and it's big. It's about a 1 inch. And you just lightly pass over the model. You don't have to hit the models really hard. You just very lightly, just let that surface bristle just run along the surface and it pulls that dust off. And that's all I ever use. And I usually seal my models, so I'm usually not running the risk of pulling the paint off. Yeah, but I mean, a gentle brush, or even like the Swiffer or something like that, something gentle that can just pass along the surface and pull that dust off. But otherwise, yeah, and once you do dust them off, give them a sealing. Varnish your models, because... Oh, that's another one. Dark Commission, that's another good one. Airbrush. If you have an airbrush, just use the airbrush. Or even get the compressed air for, like, computers and stuff like that. You can just go to Walmart or any of the big box stores, and you get the cans of compressed air, and you can just blow on them with the compressed air, not with your mouth. But anyway, yeah, good idea there, Dark Commission. I forgot all about the air, because yeah, you can use an airbrush or you can use the compressed air, and that shouldn't pull your paint job off. Hopefully, cross your fingers. Where did that come from? Crossing your fingers. What is that supposed to mean? Right? Because you say, oh, cross your fingers. But then it's like, oh, well, I made a bet, but I crossed my fingers. I mean, isn't that like a negative on a positive? Like, I don't know. What does crossing the fingers come from? Where does it come from? What is the etymology of that? Dimitri Abedin, Chris is dissing this episode. Infinity Warjax, you can't even call Geraldes anal instead of angel. No, it's not. Oh, man, I know because it's Spanish, right? And so like it's anal or something like that, right? Or because the G is an H sound, or I know it sounds like anal, but I don't want to go up because I don't want to go up if I ever meet the guy and go, hey, how's it going, anal? You know what I mean? Like, because then I look like an asshole. So I don't really want to do that. I mean, I'm okay with being the asshole, but I don't know. I just I don't know. Aaron Seach, am I going to jump into Star Wars Legion? I don't know. We've talked about that one as well, getting into Star Wars Legion. I mean, because everybody knows, right? You guys all know. I loves me some Star Wars. I love Star Wars. And, you know, am I going to get into Legion? I don't know. I mean, the price point's not bad on models and stuff like that. But see, the thing is, and I was talking about this with the boys a few days ago about Legion, because I'm sure it's going to fly right off the shelves initially. It's going to fly right off the shelves. They're not going to be able to keep up with stock. Positive of that. I'm positive. It's going to be really, really popular. For the first probably year, it's going to be huge. Maybe more. Who knows? But it's going to be. But there is going to be a determinate length of time that's going to be popular. Why? Because there's only 3 factions. 2, but 3, right? Rebels, Empire, Bounty Hunters. 3 factions in this game. And whenever you play, you're going to be playing Rebels against Empire all the time. Because that's what Star Wars is about, right? It's the Rebels and the Empire. The 2 factions of the war. You're never going to have Rebel versus Rebel. You're never going to have Empire versus Empire. Because those kind of scenarios are kind of weird, right? And so you only have a very fixed amount of factions in the game. Now, I was mentioning this with the guys, that really what they should have done was set the game during the Clone Wars. Or like how Battlefront's doing it, where it's across all eras. So if you want to play as the Empire, you can play against with the Rebels. You can play against the clones. You can play against the separate factions. You can play, Wookiees against the Separatists. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, Clone Wars era would have been way better because, yeah, for that example, you could have had the Republic, the Separatists, and you could have had all the supporting systems that were helping on either side of the war. And that would have been a much more enriching experience, playing the game in that regards, because then you have more factions, because you have you have different playabilities. I mean, chess is a good game, but chess is 2 sides, right? You never have a third or a varying faction that has different rules, or, you know what I mean? Like, chess is the same all the time. And so is Star Wars Legion going to be chess? I don't know, but I think really what they should have done was they shouldn't have limited themselves to just the original series. They should have included the Clone Wars as well, because Clone Wars as well, has way more options for stuff, right? Because you can even do Clone Wars as early war and late war, kind of like how Bolt action, where, you have early war and late war. I mean, like Clone Wars, you could have had this whole plethora of stuff. And, I again, talking about missed opportunities. Yeah. But I mean, it's still early. And they may release that stuff. Who knows, right? So, yeah. But am I going to get into the game? I don't know. I'm not compelled. I'm not super excited about it, I mean, I already have over 10,000 point Eldar army. Do I really need any more stuff? Because, I mean, how much Star Wars Legion can I play? I'd rather play more 40k, right? But that's just me. Mad Cow Crazy Citadel painting handle, meh. Citadel butt plug, more like it. Yeah, I know. Somebody, I don't know where the hell it was, but somebody said it looked like a butt plug, and now all I see is a butt plug. John Riley, hey Chris, are you going to be playing in the Blue Collar Heresy? If you are, how excited are you? If not, are you disappointed or not bothered? I initially, Matt was saying that I was going to be playing in it, but they've already started rolling up characters, so I guess I'm not playing in it. I don't know. How do I feel? I thought I was, but apparently I'm not, so I'm not. It's nothing new. I mean, you know, they tell me that all the time that I was going to be playing more 40k battle reports, playing more battle reports. That never happens. So, am I being lied to all the time? I would hate to think I am, but, you know, who knows? Anyway, Ghost of Starman Deluxe. Apparently, the Citadel handle can take 25, 32, and 40 mil bases. Cool. That's most common ones. Matthew Adami, late to the party, but episode 178. Chris's painting butt plug. It's not my painting butt plug. Mine does not look like a butt plug. Looks more like a drain stop than a butt plug. Theirs looks like a butt plug. If you ever seen a butt plug. And if you have, what kind of sites you've been going to? Jim White, may we have an email? Yeah, let's do a damn email. Yeah, holy man. Let's do an email. I'm just going to quickly skim through these here. Reziel Wargame, we still hate War Machine, not my style. Fantasy Flight Games has a lot of money from X-Wing, but not convinced Legion will be that good. They have lots of problems in the Star Wars license. Yeah. Michael Crazy, I find out that they called rebels when the logical sense that they should be called terrorists by any measure of our world's logic. It's no different from U.S. versus ISIS in many ways. Yeah, but you know what the telltale difference there is, right? Because I imagine back in, what was it, when the American independence, I'm sure the British referred to the Americans as terrorists, and because of history, they're rebels, and, you know, victory determines how history is written, so, yeah. Dana Shard said, Chris, what's your take on Necromunda? Oh, love Necromunda. I just kind of wish, because see, the thing is they released that other Necromunda thing, right? That had the terrain in it. They released that with the 40k stuff, and bang, okay? They sold a bunch of those terrain kits. Then they released Necromunda, and it's just on a board game system with a little bit of terrain, which you can incorporate with that other stuff, which probably looks beautiful. I'm sure those Necromunda models, though, I'm sure those gangers and stuff are bigger. So they're not going to be the same scale as your other Necromunda games. And are they going to release more games? Is this just something that they're just going to produce a bunch of and then leave us to deal with the rest? Or are they going to support this? And oftentimes with this specialist type of stuff, you know, they're not really awesome at supporting this stuff. I don't know why it is. It's hard to convince them to throw money into these support ones, right? But yeah, because I mean, like the Eschers look fantastic. The Goliaths, for the first time, I like the Goliath model. The old version of the Goliaths look like complete shite, and you know, I'm liking the new models. But guaranteed, because they scale change, those girls are going to be like this big compared to the old versions, which were this big. So yeah, I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe they are smaller. I don't know, but that's the trend. The scale's been going up, and so yeah. But otherwise, I mean, why not just buy the rule book? Oh no, then it's got the terrain things too. Okay, everybody just go buy a box and go get that terrain set, and you got Necromunda again. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, you know, I think it's gonna be fun. I'm curious to see if they did change the rules around. I mean, with the previous edition, they changed the rules a little bit, so I'm wondering if they're gonna use that rule set. You know, yeah. Otherwise, we're just getting a big fancy release for those miniatures because they already released the scenery, right? So, The scenery's been out for almost a year now. Well, not a year, but a couple months anyway. But yeah. Clumsy Juggler. The Citadel painting handle seems to be a cheap plastic version of a jeweler's peg clamp. Yeah, pretty much. The Gim. Yes, let's talk Necromunda. Yeah, Necromunda, man. Necromunda. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited, and I think you guys should be too. But yeah, it is kind of silly how they released this stuff for it, because I'm sure that terrain they should have released with this kit, but then the kit would have probably been like $250 to buy that box, which is kind of steep for somebody to just, I mean, who isn't nostalgic for Necromunda. I mean, how do you convince somebody who's new to Necromunda to get into Necromunda, right? How do you convince somebody who's new? I mean, everybody who's played Necromunda before is buying this, but how do you convince somebody who's new to play this? What's the enticement on there? That's the question. Bikasu. I've been using old orange prescription medicine balls with poster putty on top for the handle, and one that has drilled a bunch of holes in the top for silly putty, but under the lid, smaller parts are affixed to paper clips. Yep, whatever you got to do. Whatever you got to do. I mean, I sell mine, my steady hand grips. They're really simple. I mean, the design itself is from my brain, and you know what I mean? So it's my own property. And, I sold at a reasonable price. The Citadel one, it seems to be a fairly reasonable price. So, why not, right? Although it's US, though. I sell mine for Canadian, so anybody who's US gets it for cheaper. Because of exchange. Danish artists, they said 4 more faction gangs coming in 2018. Okay. Well, 4 more faction games would be alright. 6 gangs in total. That's alright. I think that's some playable, gaming experience, and some, yeah. The Gim, Cawdor, fire, burn, good times. Burninate. Ghost of Starman Deluxe. Chris, email. Oh yeah, email. Oh yeah, I said we were going to do an email like an hour ago. Why do you guys let me do this? Like, why do you guys let me go off on rants like that? All right, let's do an email. Headphones.
Email time. It's email time.
Alrighty, so this is from Daniel, Captain Daniel. Hi Chris, just wanted to get your thoughts on the attached. Really want to make the color scheme work, but I can tell by looking at them that something is missing other than the fact that they're only so far complete. I wanted to do a Nocturne Salamander style militia, but from another planet, and I wanted them to wear a color opposite to the norm. So, for example, instead of having gray fatigues that would suit their skin and environment, I chose yellow that stand out. Now, I don't know if this works, trial and error, but I wanted to get your opinion on them and any advice you could offer to improve them, please. I'm adding shades to the yellow and a Shabti Bone left model. Helps tone down the model, but I'm at the stage where I'm looking at them and just know that something is not right, but I can't put my finger on it. Many thanks, Daniel. Pyre Captain Daniel. P.S. Forgive the paint lapping onto other areas. I'll clean them up when I'm happy with the scheme. These are just test models. And so let's have a look at his test models. Now, I have to do this again. Crap, I forgot to adjust for pictures. Oh, it's Chris being prepared. Okay, hold on. There we go. There we go. Okay, you know what? Let's duplicate that. Yeah, we'll duplicate that. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just... There we go. Okay, so anyway, here's his color scheme. He's not entirely happy with it. It's a Shabti Bone with what's the other part? Can't remember now. Anyway. I don't know. The color scheme doesn't seem bad to me. I think what it might be is like maybe the skin tone. Maybe the skin tone's got to either push towards browns in the shadows. You know what I mean? It's like shading the gray with Agrax Earthshade. Not heavily, but just in the recesses. Or going with maybe a little bit hints of blue. Almost like a Space Wolf gray. So you got the hints of blue that plays with the yellow. Kind of makes the model pop a bit more. I like the coloring on the pants and the boots. I like that coloring. But the yellow and gray, it seems okay. I think the metals could come down a bit darker. I think really what it is you're looking to push the contrast a bit more. I think is really what you're looking to do, right? Is you're looking to push that contrast. I think the pants and boots, I think could get us a light shade wash of Agrax Earthshade, just to push a bit more of those details and create a little bit of line separation in some of those areas. The yellow, I mean, it's kind of tough because it's the gray. I mean, it is definitely the gray. Because right now, what it is that, like, I'm looking at the left guy, and there's not enough contrast, right? Everything is pretty much an even tone, right? The yellow, the khakis, the brown. Like, imagine taking a black and white picture of this. Can I change the filter on this? Let's see if I can even do that. Can I change the filter on this? Give me 2 seconds here, kids. Come on. Where's something fun here? I'm gonna play with that. Damn it. I can't find anything. But anyway, I was gonna see if I could apply a filter to this, but it doesn't look like I can. There's no fun filters here. That's disappointing. Because I would have desaturated the color and let you see what it looks like black and white. Because looking at it in black and maybe take this picture on your computer, if you have like a Photoshop program or whatever, and pull all the color out of this image and make it a black and white picture. And then you'll see how everything looks kind of even. And maybe that's what it is because everything's kind of even. So I think your opportunities for pushing contrast are the browns, where you can push those to a little bit darker. The skin, where you can push those shades and create more separation from the flesh. And push that shade wash either towards the browns or the blues. If you push towards the blues, then it plays very nicely with the yellow, and it actually plays nicely with the khaki and the browns, because brown has a lot of an orange quality to it, and so blue plays with brown very nicely. That doesn't sound right, but that's what it does. And yeah, I think that's what it is. I think if you were to look at this black and white, I think that you would see where the problem lies. I think the gun casing, too, doesn't need to be yellow. In fact, I think the gun could be black. Give the metals a dark metal, you know? Yeah. So hopefully, is it Daniel? Whoops, wrong one. Buttons are too damn close together. Yeah, Dan. So thank you, Dan, for sending that in. Really good stuff. Yeah, I think I would give it a look. Anytime you're doing a color scheme, take a picture of it, and even on your phone, take a quick picture of it in some good light, and switch it to a black and white color filter, and see how it looks. And if it looks all one tone, that's where you know you need to punch it up somewhere. That color's got to go down somewhere, and color's got to come up somewhere, and you know what I mean. And that should help you in that regards. So yeah. Let's do another email for oops. Well, I can't adjust this while I'm in this freaking. So exhausting. Oops. I'm trying not to do this with showing people's emails, but oh well. This one's from Ben. Sanguinor basic painting finished now. Apply your device when I get a chance. And so here's a Sanguinor. Oh, and this is so cool. I gotta switch to the other one here. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. This thing is super cool. I think we've shown this previously, and I really enjoyed this. I really like this. In hindsight, though, to really get that armor, I think like looking at it from this distance, like it's really really good. Don't get me wrong. But I think I want more visual contrast, more bright points on the guy, his face, his armor, his edging. You know what I mean? I think if you're really going to bring out the wow factor, I think there's got to be a couple. It's got to come up a little bit brighter, especially at the face, because his halo points to him visually. His wings are pointing to his face. Everything is pointing centrally. Look at even the flow of the cloth points towards his face. The face is the central point of this model, and I think that's where you need to really push your effort and bring that up a bit more. Just a bit more brightness in that face. And I think you really, 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 got the winner here. Because this, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, this is already a winner. But, I mean, yeah. But see all the lines? See how the blades of the wings follow the lines? They flow inward towards the center. His halo, everything flows inwards towards his head. The cloth, the way the cloth flows in towards the body, in towards the center, in towards his head. So you need to bring out the details of his head. Look at that. That's some cool stuff right there. Really, really nice. Oh yeah, look at that. It's such a great combination of the two kits, I think. I would have liked to have seen some of these little celestial things knocked off the robes, or integrated and actually use them with this model somehow. I don't know. I'm not sure what your total vision was for this guy, but yeah, really, really good stuff. Now, if this was something that you were really kind of swinging for the fences on, as far as going for like a competition or something level, or even going for like your own display standard, yeah, see the way all the lines point inwards? That means the viewer is immediately going to look right to that face. And so the face and everything has got to become brighter so that the viewer is rewarded for all these things pointing towards that center. And you got to bring all that out, make it brighter. And then I think you really, really, really got something there. Really, really. Really, really. Back to the comments real quick. Where are we? No idea. Dimitri Appleton, Jesus, the loudspeakers blew me away. I told you. I warned you guys. Steve McDemon. There he is, Steve McDemon. Oh my God, Chris is streaming on a Sunday. Yeah, well, because I didn't do the show yesterday because I went to a tournament, and I don't like missing shows because I know you guys like tuning in for this stuff regularly, and so I feel bad. I feel bad. I mean, I feel bad. I'll just leave it at that. I feel bad. And so, yeah, I do a show on a Sunday because why not? Because it's Sunday. I'm at home. And because I have the capacity now to do this from home, so why not? There's no excuse. I mean, instead of going all the way to work and to my office and, setting up the show and stuff like that, I can just set up at home and bang. Now, mind you, the backdrop isn't quite as exciting, but it's really actually getting kind of dark in here. And it's kind of spooky. I'm getting kind of scared. So, yeah. Anywho. You know what the hard part is, actually? Is sitting on my ass on this chair. Because normally whenever I do Weigh the Brush, I'm standing. And I'm sitting here on my ass, and it's starting to hurt. Oh, my ass is taking a pounding. Mini Wargamer Josh, speaking of asses, what's up, monkeys? Rezio Wargamer, what's up, Josh? The Gim, oh boy, yellow over dark color, and it's an Imperial Guard, so lots of models. You must hate free time. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that, and I was going to mention that if you are going to paint yellow, you should be painting it over light gray or white primer, and not paint over a dark primer, because yeah, you're going to kill yourself trying to build that yellow up. And just as Gim says, you must hate free time. Rezio Wargamer, is Mini Wargamer Steve getting his Raven Guard decals on yet? You know what? I don't know. Is he? He handed it. I think so. Oh, was it you that sent him decals? Because I think he just got a bunch of decals in. Was it you that sent him decals? Did he get a bunch of decals? I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. Mini Wargamer Josh, pretty sure he started the decals. Yeah, there we go. The Gim are not salamanders, more dark ebony, almost black, gray skin. Yeah, well, that was like the inspiration for it, but I don't think he was going totally for that kind of look. But it's, yeah, something like that. Something along those lines. The gray skin humanoids and anal butt plug painting handles are triggering me of that time I got abducted by aliens. Kevin Cabal, there he is. Gim, did you read my diary? Dimitri, Chris, parents, not parents. Whoa, what? Parents, not parents. Parents are not parents? Not parents. Parents, but not parents. Steve McDemon, butt plug painting handles? Yes, butt plug painting handles. The new Citadel painting handle. I mean, it looks interesting. I mean, I'm gonna get one just to, you know, be able to review and, you know, put it through its paces and such. But yeah, somebody had mentioned, I can't remember where. I don't know if it was any of the monkeys or what, but somebody said it looked like a butt plug, and I agreed, and now I cannot see anything but a butt plug. Yeah. Aaron Siege, my ass is taking a pounding. You realize you just said that, right? Yeah, I know. Oh, Razia. Okay, so you did send Steve the Forge World decals. Okay, cool. Yeah. And Iron Hands. He sent me some Ultramarines. Yay. Oh, okay, that's cool. So, okay, so you guys had a trade. Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Because he handed me the Iron Hands decals. And so they're sitting, I have boxes of decals of stuff and everything. And so they're going to sit there until one day he'll go, you know what? I wish I had some Iron Hand decals. And then I'm going to pull that sheet out and say, here you go, because you gave me this like 10 years ago. Here you go. You start your Iron Hands army. So anywho. John J. Recommend a good army builder tool for Age of Sigmar? Doesn't Battlescribe do Age of Sigmar? And Battlescribe is pretty darn good. It's free. It works on mobile devices. I really like it. That's what I use. I don't have my phone on me, so I can't, you know, give you a quick look. But Battlescribe. Somebody type in the URL for John J. Because, yeah, it's good. I like it. Apparently, though, with the recent update, there was something messed up. Apparently. I don't know. That was one of the things I was hearing yesterday. And because the latest update incorporates the new Eldar rules. So, yeah. Or new points, I should say. Which was what I wanted, because I quickly do my army list and, you know, get the list ready. But yeah, Battlescribe. Use Battlescribe. It's really good. It's free. Use it while it's still available, because, I mean, I'm sure they're pushing the limits on what they can do legally. And, you know, so, yeah, check them out. Battlescribe. Matthew Demi, goodbye, and all have fun with your butt plugs. Red Green, gotta look at the painting handle just to see it. Call it the rear guard. Bringing up the rear. Reziel, nice. That Iron Hands decal sheet is fresh. Glad you got it. Yeah, so it'll sit safe in my collection. I mean, I don't need it, but I have a whole whack ton of decals. I've got, like, you know, Space Marine decals and Necron decals, Tau decals. I've got a whole bunch of Eldar. I got Bretonnian decals. I got the old Chaos decals. I got decals for days. I got like stacks and stacks of decals. And I hang on to them because, you know, sometimes I'll burn through a few of them to, like, you know, make up something or, you know, what have you. But yeah. So thank you for sending that in, Raziel, and hopefully it was a good trade. And yeah. The Gim. Dear Chris, can you tell me a fast way to paint up an Imperial Guard army? And if I send you the models, can you demonstrate in full by painting them all? Thanks, from the Gim. Yes, I could. Am I? No. But yes, I could. But I'm not. I wouldn't count on it, buddy. I love you, Gim, but I'm not doing it, dude. Darren Common? Anyway, hi Chris, spelled my name wrong. I'm adding Kroot to my Tau army. I'm planning on painting their skin a bright purple. Could you suggest a color for their chests and beaks? Interesting. Okay, so you want to go with a bright purple for their skin, right? But you want to do the chests a little bit different. I would go with like Ushabti Bone or Screaming Skull. I'd actually go with something like that light beige kind of, cream color. I think something like that would look kind of cool. You could just like do it like that, paint in just a little bit of the color, and then lightly dry brush the area just to kind of create a bit of a feathering, a fade out through the color. And you could create like that on the bellies. For the beaks, the yellow, that's kind of a tough one because, the cliche is to go kind of a yellow color. But I think if you went with an orangey yellow with, say, a black tip, kind of like a falcon's beak, where it starts off kind of yellowish at the mouth, but then tapers off and goes to a black, I think that actually could look kind of cool. Purple on the quills. I mean, the quills, if you do them purple, that would look cool. You could do like white ends on the quills. I think that would really stand out. Again, because as I was talking about earlier with the other models, is you want to create contrast on the model. So you want to have some dark points and some bright points. And Kroot are really, really fun. And Kroot, like orcs, well, not even like orcs, but I mean, like kind of like orcs, I suppose. But Kroot can be painted any colors you want, right? You have full liberty, even by Games Workshop standards. You have full liberty to paint Kroot however colors you want. Whatever colors you can imagine, you can paint Kroot in that. And it makes sense within their lore to be a such color. So, yeah, I kind of like that about Kroot. And it's been a long time since I painted a Kroot. And, yeah. Purple Kroot, yeah. I would go with something like Nagroth Knight. And then highlight it up with Zer's Purple with just a very slight highlight of Genestealer Purple. Yeah. And then Ushabti Bone in the chest with just a light fade, just to get a little bit of a transition going on, just so you have that color fade going on. And then the beak, like I would do like a dark yellow, like Averland Sunset with Cassandora Yellow as a shade wash, maybe a bit of Agrax Earthshade just like in the nostril, and then just maybe at the separation where the mouth and the flesh meet, and then I taper off to black on the beak, just a little bit. But yeah. John J, thanks. You demand, are your painting handles available again? Not yet. I know, I keep saying that, and I have no excuse. I just haven't gotten them. I haven't gotten them made yet. Because I make them myself, and I just have not sat down and made a bunch yet. So that's on me. Procrastination. I know. I'm kicking myself in the ass right now. I've got. I'm at home today. I don't know if you guys can see this here, but I got my slippers on. Oh, geez, Louise, I almost cramped up there doing that. But yeah, I got my leopard slippers on here. Hold on. Yeah. So I'm wearing my leopard slippers today. I like leopards, by the way. No. Where am I here? The Gim. Have I said Eldar suck yet? They do. That's for the Gim. Of course, Gim hates Eldar. He's biased against Eldar. He's racially insensitive to them. Dimitri Abaddon, the title, Chris, the title. Your spelling is wrong. My spelling is wrong on the title, is it? Why? What's wrong with it? Why? What did I spell wrong? Oh. Well, I copy and pasted that. I didn't spell it. Oh, shit. Okay, wait. It's this one. Here we go. Parents. There we go. I copy and paste that. Whose suggestion was that? They spelled it wrong. Don't blame me. I'm gonna throw whoever made that title up today. I'm throwing them under the bus. You're getting thrown under the bus. Whoever made that title up. You're gonna have to go back through the chat and see who made the title up, because yeah, I'm throwing them under the bus. E-Tron. Holy man, there's a name. E-Tron. LOL, definitely not even go near the GW holder now. I know, because imagine if they made a lube And they made a butt plug and a lube. Like, what are they saying? Steam McDemon. Sheesh, I just dropped a bottle of dry pigment powder. Oh, man. I'm guessing my carpet will be light sienna forever. That's very possible. I mean, you're going to have to, like, oh, man, I don't even know. You'd have to vacuum like crazy. I do not think you want to use any kind of like soaps or anything, like liquids, anything like that. Not until you, like, vacuum the hell out of it. Oh, man, I don't even know. Like, how would you get pigment out of a carpet? Man, your old lady's gonna kill you, dude. Yeah. I'm trying to think how I've never done that. Knock on wood, but yeah. Oof. No, I don't know. You're in trouble, dude. I don't know. You're in trouble. Dimitri Abbott and Chris, why haven't you picked up Malifaux yet? I think it's a range, has a lot of minis, and you would enjoy painting. Again, now Malifaux, the models are very interesting in that. The gameplay I played on my channel here. I have a video where I play with my buddy Tyler from Slapdash Minis, and we play a game. And I think it was the previous edition though, because I think it has gone up in edition. And it was all right. I like the card mechanic of it. It's interesting. It's different. I like that cheating is a mechanic within the game, which is kind of fun. I don't know. I just maybe I got to give it another shot. But yeah, but I mean, nobody here really plays it other than maybe Ash. And we were supposed to do a bunch of games of it way back when, but we haven't. And I haven't finished my gang, actually, to be honest. So I probably got to get my gang done. Maybe I'll have to do that. Maybe I'll have to get my gang done sometime soon so I can play with Ash. Because Ash is the only one that I know around here who plays it. So, yeah. And lately I've been playing with Ash and been having a lot of fun. And, you know, we played some Titanicus there. And that was a freaking hoot, man. Yeah. And then I don't know if he's mentioned it. I don't want to ruin it, but spoiler. He's putting together Hero Quest. And so he's going to do some Hero Quest. And I told him, well, I'm down for that. So, yeah. So, once he does Hero Quest, yeah, you'll probably see my mug in there as well. Because I'm a big goof for Hero Quest. Yeah. So, Dustin Reeves, speaking of transfers, any tips for getting them to actually go onto the model? Yes, I have a few videos in Mini Wargaming's Vault on doing transfer. I actually have quite a few videos on doing it. But in a nutshell, the key factors for making sure your transfers stick to the model very, very well is making sure that you have a nice smooth paint job. Like the paint job is nice and smooth. It's not very rough. It's not very dry brushy. Anything like that. The best thing to do is to seal the model. Typically, I like to seal with a gloss varnish because gloss varnish is always better to start with because you can always bring it to a matte. But hitting it with a matte first and then trying to bring it to a gloss, two different things. It doesn't really quite work that well. So I typically go with a gloss first, lay the transfer because it'll be nice and smooth for the transfer because the transfers always want to sit on a very nice smooth surface. Now, when I do transfers, typically what I do is I have like a little, like a little saucer, and just the deviation in that plate is what I fill with water, and I'll do 2 cups, or 2 capfuls of white vinegar, regular white vinegar, and I'll put 2 capfuls in. Stir that into the water. Put the transfer in. What that does is that actually helps separate the transfer from that paper a little bit faster because it's essentially an acid and it helps. And it also softens up the transfer as well. And then basically what I'll do is I'll take that little piece of paper that has the transfer sitting on it very carefully. I'll hit the little surface with a little bit of water, slide the transfer onto that point, use that little bit of water to position the thing, and then squeegee out the water from behind the transfer with a brush, right? I won't use my finger or anything. I often just use my brush and just squeegee out, like push the water out from under the transfer, right? Because the transfer's sitting there, there's a barrier of water between the two, and so you want to push on the transfer to squeeze that water out, gets it nice and smooth and smooth to that surface. And then I often use what's called a decal set. I often use Walthers, and I'll apply just a quick little layering on that onto the model and onto the surface of the transfer. And what that does is it ends up melting the transfer onto the surface. And so what it often does is, well, if there's panel lines and things like that, it'll make the transfer flow within that panel line. It's very, very awesome stuff. If you've never used this stuff before, you definitely have to use it. Once that is fully dry, like an hour, 2 hours later, once it's fully dry, then I'll come in and I'll reseal the area in gloss, and then if I want to hit it with matte, I'll hit it with matte. But otherwise, if I hit it with another layer of gloss, it becomes invisible to that surface. You don't even see the carrier film or the edges of where the transfer was or anything like that. It just blends right into the rest of the paint job, and it looks perfect. So in a nutshell, that's transfers. But I do have a few videos in Mini Wargaming's Vault on applying transfers. So check those out if you're a Vault member. If you're not a Vault member, you can sign up for a free 7-day trial. Make sure you get the silver membership so that you get access to all the videos. See, I threw a Mini Wargaming Vault plug in there as well. Where am I in these things? I'm lost. Anyway, okay. Dimitri had to give me, if it was some kind of joke, it flew right over my head. I don't know, and I still don't get it. Yeah. E-Tron, Rogue One, and Awaken. What did you think of these? What did you think, Chris? Force Awakens. I enjoyed it. It was very nostalgic. It was it often got compared to A New Hope in the regards that it was the beginning, and it had a lot of tiebacks, and it did. It had very similar beats, and so I'm excited to see what comes of this new film, which is most likely going to be a darker tale. Rogue One, I loved Rogue One for whatever its flaws. I mean, Star Wars are kids movies. They're not. It's not high art. It's not. It's not like going in and seeing Dr. Zhivago or even the first Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? Like those are really great films that were shot cinematically. And nowadays, because of our over reliance on computer animation, films like Star Wars and stuff like that, I mean, they're great, but I mean, they're completely phony, right? I mean, yes, movies are phony, nothing, but like the first Lord of the Rings, I mean, it was beautiful because like so many of those scenes were shot realistically. Like, that's fantastic. And like I watched like Dunkirk, I couldn't even tell what was CG in that movie. That movie seemed real the entire way through. And that's what it should be. That's the way it should be. Because Dunkirk was freaking awesome. And I just watched Ragnarok Thursday night. And Ragnarok was awesome. And that's a huge amount of CG in that movie. But the story, the characters are compelling. And unfortunately, like with Star Wars movies, only the original trilogy did we even care about the original characters. The prequels, we didn't care about the characters. There was not enough time to develop characters, right? We didn't care. And so, with this whole new Star Wars series, they're trying to make us care again. And I think that's why it was pretty good and pretty successful, because attention was paid to the character aspect, developing these characters, right? And so that's why I think it did pretty well. Otherwise, if it was like the prequels, we all would have just went, this was like the prequels, this is garbage, you know what I mean? But at least it was like A New Hope, and at least they gave us new characters, and we kind of got behind those new characters, and I think that was very cool. And Rogue One, there could have been more. That movie could have been longer, I think, but it had some great elements to it, and just it had some really great scenes, and I liked the way it was shot, like right from the opening scenes where Buddy's on his farm and everything like that. I loved all that. That just looked beautiful. Like, that was fantastic, So yeah, I enjoyed it. Star Wars, and I love my Star Wars. So, what time we at here? Holy man, we're past time. We're past the time. Ramby at Chris, Star Wars is not art. TK 313072. It's not high art. It's not the kind of like the original series, because it was original, because it broke new ground, and that's. But I mean, the movies are always designed for kids. They're not. People crap on, like, say, Ewoks and Jar Jar Binks, but Star Wars is made for kids. But people crap on, like, the Ewoks. But way back in the day, people hated the Ewoks because they were too cute. But you know what? They're for kids. And I had Ewoks when I was a kid because I loved Star Wars. And when episode 1 came out, and Jar Jar Binks, who was there for the kids, because Star Wars is kids movies, and people hated it, that's the grown-ups, because that's people who spend way too much time in their basements. You know what I mean? Like, no, Get over it. Star Wars is for kids. I love Star Wars. But Star Wars is for kids. E-Tron. Yeah, totally agree. Hope The Last Jedi is darker. Oh, it promises to be way darker. Way darker. I mean, like, again, they're going to be comparing... People are going to be comparing this to Empire Strikes Back, which is the best. Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, is the best Star Wars movie. Even better than Rogue One. But for my books, it's Empire Strikes Back, then Rogue One, and then New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, Revenge of the Sith, Clone Wars, and then Episode 1. For my money. Dustin Reeves. Problem with Rogue One is the secondary characters were more interesting of the movie than the two main characters were just bland. Yes, exactly. You know, I mean, it was great, you know, like they want to have like the female lead, you know, and she's a strong independent character, you know, because they want to throw back towards, you know, like having characters like Princess Leia, who's a strong female lead, or strong female character. She's not the lead. Luke Skywalker's the lead, but, you know, which is very cool. And of course, you know, like you had the other buddy, what's his name there? Crap, I can't even remember his name. I don't know. John Jay is flipping out. Maybe he's mashing his head against the keyboard. Anyway, but yeah, Rogue One. I mean, like it's not a perfect movie, but it's an excellent movie. And I mean, like it's changed Star Wars. It's changed Star Wars because of its success and because of where it went and how it was done. Yeah, because Rogue One really, because it's such a dark tale, because like everybody dies, all the heroes die, which makes it very sad, which makes it very kind of almost anti-kid. It makes it not kid-friendly, but I mean, I don't think people give kids enough credit, and I think people shield their kids from too much. You know, being able, like, I mean, you know, how we deal with death is very important, you know, and how we deal with the death of characters and things like that. You know what I mean? Like, when we read books, I mean, you know, Mother Goose fairy tales, there's death in them, right? How does Hansel and Gretel end? How does Hansel and Gretel end? They kill the friggin' witch, right? So, you know, I can't remember where I was going with any of that. Red Green, you keep I seen that. I seen something about bikinis earlier. I was wondering, what the hell is he talking about? Yes, one more time, Imperial Guard girls in bikinis with rear guards. Yeah, and I talk all the time how we need more, you know, female players in this game, and that kind of comment, you know, it's just like, well, I mean, like, I know there's probably 10% of the girls who are probably into that, and, you know, but the rest are kind of, no, I don't think so. But anyway, Gordon Jr. agreed. I would watch the whole movie with governors and commanders maneuvering for power. Yeah, I suppose. You know, I mean, going for the whole political aspect. I mean, but again, it's not about the setting. The settings are always the backdrop. It's about the characters and the conflict within of characters and the conflict between characters. That's what's interesting. That's what you watch movies for. You know, the characters have to be interesting. Otherwise, you're not invested. Always. Holy crap! I'm way over time here. Time we at here. Dimitri Appleton, in my opinion, they should have done Old Republic, but let's be honest, Star Wars universe is very limited in terms of what you can do with it. You know what? I would disagree, Dimitri. I think the Star Wars universe is very wide open what you can do with it. I mean, the expanded stuff, you know, even going with like Old Republic and up, right? I mean, like, you know, they can go all sorts of places with it, you know? Yeah. Red Green, yes. Well. But no, Dimitri, I think Star Wars, especially if we go back to when we were talking about like Star Wars Legions, the game that's going to be like 40K, which apparently is why Fantasy Flight Games ended their deal with Games Workshop, because they were creating a game that essentially was going to compete with their core game, Legion, right? Which is basically just like 40K. It's a tabletop skirmish game, right? So I think it's going to be very. I think it's going to fly off the shelves when it as we get more and more stuff. But I think it's very, very limited. I don't think it has the legs like 40K does. 40K's been around 30 years. I don't think Star Wars Legion has that. I don't think it has that kind of longevity. Unless they do something really, really great, either in its rules or the models, or they change something in the universe, or something, right? Because 40K is wide open to make anything up, whereas Star Wars, we're already inhibited to think of it like historical gaming, where it's only two sides. I mean, like, if you got into Napoleonic gaming, right, with the wars, with the, like, you know, the Napoleonic Wars, there's only a couple factions in that. There's only a couple sides and only a couple things. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so many ways, so many things you're going to have on the table. Ever. Right? Is that fun? Sure. For some people who enjoy recreating those things. But you're not going to have Space Marines in that game. You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah. Does it have legs? I don't know. We'll find out. Tune in and find out. Dimitri Avenant, but to the general audience, it won't be Star Wars. Right. Yeah. But, you know, I don't know. It's hard to say. I guess we're going to end her here, I guess. Dana Shires, I think Disney is in control of Star Wars. Lots of things get complicated. Yeah, but you know what, though? They've been doing pretty good by Star Wars. I mean, you're talking Disney, who, you know, makes Beauty and the Beast, and then put out Rogue One, where all the heroes get killed, and even the fun, lovable droid gets shot in the back and dies, and we see his little robot eyes flickering out. I think they're doing okay. I think they know what their audience wants, and I'm sure they have probably done a shit ton of studying and focus groups and things like that nature to put it all together and say, you know what, I think we know what the audience wants, and they're going to do what the audience wants. The Gim. Well, before Disney, George Lucas said he always wanted to do something new with each movie. Disney says, make us money. Yes, exactly. And that's exactly it. George gave us the prequels. And the only good one was the last one. The last prequel, Revenge of the Sith. And even that was a bit of a stretch. You know? I think if Disney was to redo those prequels, I think that we would get something very different, especially because a movie like Rogue One did so well and was such a dark story. I think we would get some very, very interesting stories out of them, you know? I don't think, even the Marvel movies, right? Even the Marvel movies, you know, they're going in darker directions and, you know, things like that. So just because it's Disney doesn't mean it's going to be all, you know, Mickey Mouse. It's, you know, they're going to give the people what they want. And don't forget the Pirates of the Caribbean. The Pirates of the Caribbean, those are other ones. Aside from the fourth one, the last one wasn't bad. I actually didn't mind it. And Javier Bardem, I mean, he's just an awesome actor anyway. So, yeah. So if you are commission paying a service, or, you know, a commission painter, or you want some help, you know, you're brand new to this hobby, and, you know, you're not sure where to go next, you can ask me, Chris at miniwargaming.com. It's in the description below. Of course, you can join me on Facebook. You can join me on Discord. You can join me on Facebook by typing in waythebrush.com. That'll take you to the Facebook page till I get a web page built up, which who knows when. Whenever I get off my ass and get it done. Way the Brush t-shirts. I'm not wearing one today. I'm wearing my Mini Wargaming one today. But anyway, yeah. I forgot where I was going with any of this. Yeah, so email, waythebrush, or Chris at miniwargaming.com, waythebrush, Facebook, Discord. Yeah, join us in Discord. T-shirts, and yeah. I think we had fun here. Did we learn something? I mean, we might have learned a couple things. But either way, wow, we're way past our time. I think it's time to get off. And so take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you. And I will see you guys next week. I think, probably, most likely. Because probably because I have nothing else better to do. Anywho, take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you, and I'll see you guys next week.